First up, just want a quick introduction to our eminent panelists with us, starting with Vijayanti from UPS Senior Director, right? Ratnavel from Bal Corporation, Raj, who's the CEO for You to Learn, and Vijay Raghavan from Fuji Electric, right? In terms of everybody talks about resilience, agility, adaptability, whatnot, right? But truly, let me start with this part of the first question, right? Vijay Raghavan, if I could let you take the mic, why don't you let us know, and again, the context should be around academia, industry, all of us together in this partners, right? Partners in the game. How do you define workforce resilience and adaptability? I know it's a cliche question. Everybody talks about resilience, let's build. Adaptability, let's build. All these are fine. But how do you define workforce resilience and adaptability? That's part A of the question. And considering the rapid change that's been happening today, the hybrid workforce, whether you work for a week more than stipulated hours or not in other ways, I'm not getting into that side of it right now. But how do you define resilience and adaptability?
Great, thank you, Mr. Satish, and good morning to all. When it comes into the resilience and adaptability, which is something it's close to my heart to share with the dais people here, you need to look at first and foremost, when you say resilience, for any employee who is coming through, you know, as we talk about, they go through a lot of stress. There are a lot of anxiety when the newcomer come into the organization. So how do you ensure that he becomes a part of your team to take it through? I know many people will say the employee engagement. I mean, that's very definitely important as part of the career or as part of the organization growth. And Mr. Ratnavel was talking about the continuous learning aspect, what we look into it, setting up a specific L&D team to run through the courses or the trainings, the methodologies, what you wanted to do according to the industry, or you talk about the basics of what an engineering graduate, if you wanted to do the stuff in your organization. So when you say resilience, I go back to the academia part, what Doctor was saying it. See, in Fuji, what we basically do when we look at academia is we go back to colleges. So what we basically do is more than 10 plus colleges across India. What we have done is we have made a tie-up with them in terms of setting up a lab. So what we wanted to do for the industry as well as for ourselves, it's both way. What we are trying to do there is basically creating a workforce which can easily get adaptability towards your industry. We know that when we do set up this kind of labs, what happens is we know there may be 200 students, 300 students. Everyone we may not be in a position to observe it, but at the same time we are creating a pool which can be good for the industry. What we are trying to do by setting up this lab is it's a three-way benefit for us as also for the academia. Is one is they come to know the exposure of what is industry is actually looking forward in terms of their future. Second is we know as an organization that hey guy is good, this guy is really good, so let's keep an eye on him. We know it that he can do better. And third is some of the things, say for an example, our R&D team may be tied up with some of the projects. So what we do is we give back these things to these colleges for the students to play around with the tool what we have given them. So we get a lot of good ideas from them basically. So what happens, I know as a token of appreciation we incentivize them, but then end of the day it is not the incentivize, it is that the idea, and we know that oh, there are youngsters who are looking for opportunities. And trust me, those colleges where we have gone into Downsip, Madurai, Coimbatore, Tirunelveli, you see a lot of talent. They are craving for opportunity. And that's where I always say resilience. When you say resilience and adaptability, they have the crave for opportunity and adaptability, and what we wanted to do as an organization to grow further. And we are very sure that in coming days we also opened up a factory in Vagadam now, I'm sure more of these people will get more opportunities. I mean, not only in Tamil Nadu, we talk about CHRMP University in Punjab. We have in other states in Maharashtra. So we ensure that we connect with the people. We wanted to ensure that the industry as well as the academia both connect with us in terms of identifying the right students and also ensuring that we export them the knowledge what they require and they are ready for when they come out of the college.
Great. I mean, it's not just about campus hires, it's about how do we engage them much ahead of the curve, get the skills updated for them and be ready for job, right? I mean, it's a fantastic one. So just to stay on this point, Ratnavel, on to you, what could organizations design a strategy, not just to build resilience like what Vijay spoke about, but also to sustain this workforce resilience? Because it's not just a one-time getting into campus, hiring people, working with industry academia partnership, but what should we do to kind of sustain this entire ecosystem?
That's a very good question, Satish. For me, sustainability is very important, and getting them onboarded is a half job done, but sustain them in the organization. So when you talk about sustain, so we should think about, first and foremost for me is coming to the leadership. How the leadership is committed to those workforce. How much they are investing their time in developing those workforce which is getting onboarded. Second, the empathetic leadership. How empathetic they are, especially now recently we saw in the news, I don't want to name the company, one of the bigger organizations in India, they just send out their students over the night, the employees, not even students. They have been waiting for 2.5 years to come into the organization, but they are working for only 6 months. Then suddenly they said that you failed in some test and you are being sent out on an evening, not even given time for them to get mentally prepared for that. These are some of the scenarios which is giving that how the leadership is taking those things in mind and doing that. So for me, empathetic leadership is important. Being transparent is important in whatever we are doing. Second, like how we are providing the employee support and the well-being. What all the assistance programs we have got, how much we are investing on the employee well-being. Because now everybody is, especially after the COVID, everybody is now concerned about how much the organization is investing on their well-being, on the wellness, both physical and the mental wellness. Third, the skill development and the career growth opportunities. So what are the avenues we are creating within the organization for the skill development of the employees, and how we are making them to feel that yes, by coming here I am developing myself, I am seeing a growth in myself, in the talent, in the skill, and how we are making that. So, and also to show them the career path. What is a career path after 2 years, after 3 years? What is that career path is there in this organization? Then only somebody is going. Now it is not that the fancy CTC is what you are offering, like in the campus we are hiring, we are offering in crores and other things. It's no more people are looking at. People are ready to go for startup with in the thousands also. But they are looking at that as a whole career. How I am going to do, people are going to leaving those kind of organization, now they are going to the startups. So that ecosystem we need to develop. Then the psychological well-being, like as I already mentioned about the wellness, when, the culture of the psychological safety in their organization, how the employees are treated, how they are being given the respect in the organization. So these all the things are creating kind of an overall ecosystem within the organization for those workforce to come in, not only survive, and also to thrive there, to make, coming with a lot of innovative ideas, giving the room for their innovation. So these all the things very much needed to make an resilience. When you are talking about resilience, these are all the ingredients which can help them actually.
Thank you so much, Ratnavel. So that's from an org perspective, be empathetic, focus on their health, wellness, and continuity in terms of learning. Vijay, if I may turn this on to you, from an org strategy, perfect, but how does leaders walk the talk? What do you think leaders must do to kind of sustain this, whatever that Ratna and Vijay spoke about?
Okay, just before that I thought I'll bring back the context, right? Resilience itself is a very profound word, right? What does resilience mean? It's kind of how do you handle the difficult situations and you're able to sail through that situation. That's the fundamental definition. Having said that, I'm going to shamelessly talk about my organization too in this, right? Because some of the examples which are closer to my heart, I want to share it, and some key takeaways for you from that. So I come from an organization which is basically, people call it as, it's just a parcel company. No, it's not a parcel company. We are a technology company. The company name is United Parcel Services. This is a 118-year-old company, Fortune 50 company. And we have the IT wing of it, which we call it as GCC in India, which got established in August of 2023. Right, that's the company I work for now. Prior to that, of course, I was working with IBM. Thank you, Augie, for inviting me for the session. I come from the business side of the world who liaison with the HR, right? So I'm going to speak both the languages, the business language and the HR language. So having said that, this company, almost, we have 5 lakh employees. In that 97% of them are either the truckers or the air fleet staff and the package handlers, right? I mean, the rest is all the IT staff that we are talking about, right? Now imagine a company which has around 97% to 98% of the blue-collar employees, then we need to have an ecosystem which can handle the resilient workforce. How do you make them resilient? That means we need to have something that we need to do right? In fact, if you go to US, 70% of our UPS staffs are in US. Every day, the neighborhood, we call them friendly Spider-Man, right? So UPSs are known for that because many a times people wait for these drivers to come and deliver the packages. And they are with us for 40 years. If they are there for 40 years with UPS as a regular employee, we are doing something right. And that's when I went and introspected, and I found that is nothing but the purpose of the company. The purpose is very simple for UPS. We move the world forward by delivering what matters, right? That's a very profound statement again. So every day when these drivers are going and delivering something, they're connecting with your end customer, they understand the pulse of the end customers, they come back and relay it back to our leadership. And many a times they even, in fact last week, just to give an example, we had a driver go and deliver the wedding gown at the end tower where the bride was waiting for the gown and the package was to come from UK. And wedding could have got stalled, right? Because that's a very big deal for them. In fact, we were sent an appreciation for having delivered on time because they possibly had ordered it at the last minute, but we delivered on time. And look at the purpose, the value they have created. Now coming to the IT side of the world, we do one beautiful thing because we are a very new company here, just 1.5 years, 2 years old in Chennai. We take all our new staff to the warehouses, the sorting facilities in Bangalore. We show them how exactly things happen on the ground. Because people think just writing a piece of code is what it is. Absolutely not. Seeing is believing. So they have to understand the purpose. And I want to close with one final statement. What we do is every day we deliver 2% of world GDP we handle. That means that the volume of packages that we deliver, and that's truly amazing. I'm so proud to be part of this organization. Though I'm not from the direct HR fraternity, I'm from the business, but I liaison with HR and L&D very closely. And that is the purpose that drove me today to be part of this panel and talk about our experiences. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Viju. Very, very aptly said. It's the purpose that drives 40 years with the same company is unheard of, at least in not this side of the gray hair, but the other side of the table. But having said that, Raj, if I may turn this on to you, for us to kind of get to this extent of longevity and advocacy and loyalty and health, wellness and all that we spoke about, Raj, if you could take us through from your perspective and your company. I know you do a lot of upskilling, cross-skilling and getting campus eyes be ready for job and so on. What are the critical skills that are essential for someone to be employable, being called as employability part of it, considering all the technology changes that are happening, right? Sometime back we spoke about AI, then we spoke about Gen AI, and today as a company at Meridius, we've started going behind agentic AI solutioning as well, which is the next gen, which things get done from start to end. You don't need any human intervention, right? And I think the panel also spoke about it during the key address in the morning. What sort of skills, what should someone focus on, Raj?
Thank you, Mr. Satish. So, when we work with different types of institutions offering different programs, so starting from business administration, financial economics, and all the way to software engineering and data science, right? In each of these programs, you assume like engineers wanted to be software development engineers, but not necessarily everyone. Okay, some of them would want to be a run digital marketing activities over a period of time because maybe they just found it on the way and that became their passion. And so is with the finance person who want to do sales. Okay, so these are like basically what people have been grasping through their education is the foundational skills. Okay, and on top of it, what they want to do maybe in fact to a lot number of people is fairly different, is massively different in what they want to do, how they want to pursue their career. So in terms of upskilling, one of the biggest challenges we are seeing is whatever the field they want to pursue, what is the career path they will have, okay? Which is one of the things the students and students are really struggling to understand. If I don't become a software engineer, if I take a path in as a finance associate, what will I become? Will I become jobless for a period of time? Will my salary be limited to only 30,000? Or everyone has an ambition. So articulating that career path is the most important thing as part of the upskilling. And second, when it comes to this upskilling, so in terms of getting there, what do I need? Okay, so in colleges whom we work with, like a lot of the institutions, they offer mostly on the theory side, what is being covered and so on. So what exactly industry wants is massively different, and it's like it has to be practically driven, and it should be lab oriented. So a lot of the times we see there is a gap of understanding for students to understand what exactly industry want. Okay, so there may be few institutions that have collaborations with industry, but in India there are close to 60,000 institutions in India. And if you say maybe 500, 600 have some partnerships. So the rest of them don't have partnerships. So how all these students are going to know what industry wants, right? So that is another bigger challenge we see. Because once these two things are clarified, there is also a lot of content available in terms of how they want to pursue the path. Some may be willing to do it by themselves. Some may go through some training and pursue their own passion. So these are the three foundational areas which I see are sort of the building blocks. Building blocks are in fact can be barriers that can be eliminated to help these students become potentially like future CEOs or CFOs or CMOs or even CTOs, whatever they want, right? And lastly, even when we upskill these students, there is an inherent bias amongst a lot of the companies that we go only to top 100 colleges as per NIRF, okay? So that is also, even the students are well prepared and work very hard, they are not getting an opportunity to be part of the recruiting activities. I think avoiding or going for some sort of like a blind review for students rather than through colleges, I think that can make mass impact and create massive incentives for students to be industry ready and pursue their dreams. Thank you, Satish.
Thank you, Raj. I think three key aspects that you called out, which is very pivotal to this. Vijay, if I may turn this on to you quickly, at a very high level. I know the markets are shifting drastically out there, right? To go with what Raj had said, how do we make this much more adaptive in nature as a DNA?
Yeah. So again, setting the context here, right? Today we are talking about various platforms getting launched. How many people of you here on Instagram? Just raise the hand. I'm sure those are all young people, I think. I really love you guys, okay? You're all young at heart, or either you're young by age, I don't know. Just to give the numbers, right? When Netflix came into existence, for them to get into 1 million subscribers, it took around 3.5 years. Spotify, can you believe how much time it took for them? Just 5 months. CHRMP, 15 days. DeepSeek, I think it might be half a day, I'm assuming, so I don't have the data for that. And yesterday there was a news about a company called Replit. I don't know how many of you have followed Replit. Anybody have heard about this company? Yeah? So what did it do? It wrote a piece of code, the entire, without the intervention of any software engineer, for a real estate company called Zillow, right? that's a big deal. We're talking about the way things are changing. It's not about the technology change. It's about the adoption and adaptation to these technologies, which is a bigger driving force and challenge for the companies, right? Now, if that is the era that we are living in, then what do we do with the skilling and all of those, right? So here is what we do at UPS, because as I want to share my personal experience as to what we are doing and what we have been doing for the last year and a half. As soon as the employee walks into the company, the first we do is we follow something called the skill taxonomy. It's nothing but we look at the current skill of the employee and we like to understand the proficiency level of that employee, where do they stand. That's the first thing that we do. And then it gets calibrated periodically. It's not just a one-time exercise, we keep calibrating it. That's for the people who are coming from the lateral hiring process. Right? I'm speaking HR language now, right? But there's another channel that we bring in the people is from the engineering colleges or the graduates from the various colleges. As you rightly said, we partnered with a Tier 2 institution and Tier 3 institution in Tamil Nadu, where it's more about the non-Madalvan program. We had hired around 6 interns last year. This year we got around 40 interns, right? Now that's something that business is consciously doing to factor in as part of the budgeting process, right? The business has to come along with the HR, with the L&D to do it. Now interestingly, what we found is, though skill taxonomy has been defined, you need to have an L&D ecosystem around it. Now L&D is no more a training organization. That's what we realized. It has become a content curator, because people know things are available, but how do you put things into perspective, keeping the skill taxonomy and the technical product that your company is developing? How do you build things around and curate the content? That's very important. That's the journey that we are towards it. So to your question, that is where the cross-skilling, upskilling, reskilling, those are the things that we are working on today. And the youngsters that we have brought in today as an intern, some of them have worked in our core R&D research problems. We have given them problems like, you know that our package cars are all brown in color. We don't call it as a truck car. We don't call it a brown truck. We call it package car. The other thing we call it as a brown tail. Our aircrafts are called brown tail. It's the 9th largest fleet in the world, right? Now we gave a problem to the students saying that figure out a way how you can make the environment cooler in the package car during the hot summer season. They worked on prototyping certain solution, came back from some of the Tier 2 and Tier 3 colleges, and we hired them as intern, right? So the problem statements are some of the driving factors which are important, and business has to be involved in that along with the L&D, along with the HR. This has been our experience, Satish.
Fantastic analogies that you draw up as well. So Vijay, if I may turn this on to you in a minute, if you could quickly let us know, there are these portals called ZWIAM where you get to see A to Z of anything and everything, right, across industries, not just IT that I hail from. We spoke about upskilling, cross-skilling, different dimensions. How do you go about in looking at this from an adaptability perspective in your organization, considering there are these apprenticeship programs that are there and a lot of these, how do you amalgamate all these together?
Great. Basically upskill and reskill is very, very important for anyone, you know. We always say learn and you forget the learning and relearn the stuffs. It's very, very important that when you say upskilling and reskilling, every year what we do in our organization basically is we understand something called skill gap matrix. We have functional competency and a behavioral competency. There are two very important things which is very, very important for an organization. So we come out function-wise what is required in terms of functional competency, which is very important, and behavioral competency, which is common for the organization. So we analyze it. There can be 25 behavioral competency. Then we break it down. Which are the things which is very, very important for an organization perspective. Then we break down departmental perspective, and then we break down individual perspective. So we take that and then we align it with our L&D calendar. And the second thing, when it comes into the functional, which is much more important because it gives you the business. So when it gives you the business, you should know that, okay, this guy requires this specialization of this course. So what we do is, we have an education policy. We engage our employee. We say that
boss, this is required, not only for us, this is for your future. We sponsor you. We know that we value you. You better go through these courses. So that way you upskill your talent, existing talent. It's easy, or I won't say easy, is sometimes when you identify the talent, you have it with you, you should know how you should retain your talent. This comes as a part of retaining your talent, because you know that you are educating them, you are making them to the next level. And we all talk about the evolving workforce landscape next, into the future. This becomes one of the critical part when it comes into upskilling and then reskilling. This process keeps moving on. This process actually helps the organization. If you are seriously thinking about moving ahead, if you are seriously thinking about your organization to move ahead, this actually works.
Fantastic, Vijay. So purpose-driven, competency-driven, skill-driven. Just with the topic, I know we're going to be built out in a minute. Just to give a shade of AI, because none of us spoke about AI. So in our organization, that's exactly what we've done. We've kind of married the career architecture framework, which has the job family, skill family, and roles and everything. We've kind of enabled employees, when they log in to a particular role that they've been designated to, the learning journey is curated, right, exactly what you said. So we don't do the traditional T&I where a training partner goes sit and understand what he or she needs and all those stuff. AI generates the entire learning journey for an employee. I think that's where the technology is also letting us move towards. Raj, to you quickly, in about 30 seconds, if you could let us know what sort of technology that you use for upskilling and cross-skilling. I know you spoke a lot in the three-pronged approach. If you could just give us a nutshell of it.
When we are upskilling any student, we usually go with have them take an exam where we will assess what they're good at and what are their interests. And depending on that, the upskilling starts all the way from goes from software development to digital marketing, where they pursue different paths. But most importantly, given what we have in place, right, what we call is AI literacy. How do we work? How do you understand and use these generative AI technologies in their domain expertise is very, very crucial. So when we are upskilling, it's not only about how they execute it, but also along an ability to become more of a prompt engineer for anyone to execute these skills most efficiently and enhance productivity for the company is the core theme for our upskilling activity.
Super, thanks Raj. Ratnavel, before we've been asked to walk off quickly, all these understood, assimilated, comprehended well, but given the hybrid situation right now, not maybe in your industry at this point in time because it's all on the field kind of job, but in IT fields like what we are hailing from, what do you think, how do you think this should get implemented? Given the 2-day work week or a 1-day work week or 3-day work week, how do you think we can build this resilience and agility at a very high level?
Yeah, when you said that in your industry it may not be, but I want to tell you that we are pioneers in this. Even before COVID, we used to have this hybrid working. So I am the regional HR manager. I don't have an office to work. I work from home. But I manage...
we will talk offline. I need something like this as well.
So I manage 8 countries with 11 plans, okay? So, but what I'm trying to talk to you is that we know very importantly the roles, we identify the roles which can be made as a flexible, remote, or going to the work really and working there. So we have that categorization very clearly. Of course, COVID gave us an opportunity to even self-introspect us and define that actually. What we found is that not that everyone going to the office is working productively. Not that they are working for 8 hours. We know how is the productivity in the office. And we found that some of the roles, when they are in the hybrid mode, when they are in the flexible mode, they are having more productivity. We are able to kindle their innovation thinking. And they are feeling empowered. And they are setting up their own workplace in their own style. And they are able to deliver. Some of the technical guys also. So we got some of the experts like some of the technology experts who provides their expertise to the countries across the EMEA, like Europe and the Middle East Asia. But so we allow them to work from home, and they are provided with the laptop, and they will be able to help us in the technological front at the home itself. But whenever they need, they are in the spot. Okay. So what we are seeing is that one is that empowerment is there. Second, there is a clear work-life integration. Third, they are feeling they are more innovative. Four, they don't spend more time on cafeteria, spending on gossips and other things, where they are focused on their work, and of course they will spend some good time with their wives also, staring at their wife comfortably. Okay? And wife,
it's up to you.
we don't ask them to work for 90 hours, of course, but they do work on the stretched hours on their own. We never, that whether you logged in on by 9 a.m. or logged in by 10 a.m. or you working till 12 o'clock, no. We only categorically tell them what is their deliverables, what is their KPIs they need to achieve, and we monitor that. So these all things, what we feel overall this system is giving an opportunity to make an employee feeling independent, empowered, and work-life integration.
Brilliant. And I take this as a fantastic comment, and I presume that we include HR fraternity also into this hybrid work mode and being effective, right?
Ask me, I'll tell you.
Okay, got it. All right, thank you so much. I'm gonna just finish this off with just a one-word answer, not beyond that, right? What is one skill, Vijay, let's start with you, one skill that you think that we should build to be resilient and sustain this adaptability part of it? One skill.
Change.
Change, fantastic.
Empathetic, being empathetic.
Be empathetic, okay. Raj?
Critical thinking.
Critical thinking, okay.
Humility.
Okay. So I'm gonna add on to what Vijay said. It's about whatever technology that comes in, how do you humanize technology? I think that's something that we should be really concerned about and work upon to be building a resilient, sustainable, and adaptable workforce. With that, thank you so much, panelists, and I'm going to pass this on to the chair.